Hey everyone, I'm DC Rutledge, and this is Two Hard Questions. This week, by popular demand, we're going to be discussing the progressive policy of a federal job guarantee. Although it might seem like a novel idea in today's politics, a federal job guarantee has a long history of support from progressives within the Democratic Party, stretching back to FDR in the 1930s.
As at a great many other cities, the Works program has provided jobs for thousands of workers in the improvement of existing facilities and in new construction. The welfare of the community served by a new construction project is always the first consideration, and plans are laid not only for the present, but for the more demanding future.
The WPA and other New Deal job programs were not initially designed to be permanent fixtures in the U.S. economy. However, FDR clearly wanted them to be, considering his proposed Second Bill of Rights in 1944, which included the right to a job and an adequate wage as the first two rights respectively. In recent years, economists and progressive politicians have been pushing the necessity for just such a permanent job program. This, coupled with the rising popularity of standalone universal basic income proposals, has emboldened federal job guarantee advocates to tout its merits and to proclaim it as the superior policy. And that's what we'll be looking at for this week's Two Hard Questions. First, let's talk about how a federal job guarantee program would be implemented. There have been a couple prominent FJG proposals in the past year, one from the Levy Economics Institute of Bard College, and another commissioned by the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. These two have laid the groundwork for potential implementation of such a program. Stephanie Kelton, professor of public policy and economics at Stony Brook University and co-author of the Levy Economics Institute proposal, describes how a FJG might look.
We have very high unemployment rates for young people in this country. We have an environmental catastrophe. There are ways to put people to work caring for our planet, caring for one another, rebuilding roads and infrastructure, and caring for our community. So, you can think very imaginatively, the way they did in the WPA, where people were performing public theater, the arts were part of it, recording oral histories. I mean, it isn't just a shovel and something to fill in a road. We can think very, very creatively about the kinds of jobs we want to create for people in the 21st century.
William Sandy Darity Jr., professor of public policy and economics at Duke University, and co-author of the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities study, expands on that description by discussing two major issues that a FJG would address.
First, it would address the problem of underemployment. People who are underpaid, have precarious work hours, may have no benefits, and the like. And it would also address any residual problems with unemployment that we have, even in a period where there's a relatively low unemployment rate, but also in periods where we might have pressure for increasing unemployment as a consequence of the business cycle.
The final part he mentioned gets to the important countercyclical nature of the FJG. It would grow during economic downturns when businesses are shedding jobs, and it would shrink during economic upturns when businesses begin hiring more workers from the FJG pool, essentially creating a buffer stock of employment. While the two proposals differ in substantive ways over wage structure and benefits eligibility, they share many common threads that have become ubiquitous in current conceptions of the federal job guarantee. They both would provide guaranteed employment for any American 18 years and up who is ready and willing to work at a living wage that would lift a family of 4 out of poverty, plus benefits. They both would be federally funded programs, but the majority of jobs would be administered at the state and local levels to fit the needs of individual communities. They both would include investment in on-the-job training programs and paid apprenticeships, as well as further education and certification programs to help with skill development. They both would be targeted at unemployed and underemployed individuals and would establish a new de facto national minimum wage and benefits package. And they both would keep existing social safety net programs in place for individuals who cannot or choose not to participate in the program. That last part is key to understand, as many people confuse the FJG with the conservative idea of workfare. A federal job guarantee program would not compel individuals to work in order to receive their current government benefits. It would, however, be available to anyone ready and willing to work, greatly reducing the financial obligations of the existing safety net system without eliminating any of those needed programs. Now let's talk about why a federal job guarantee is considered superior to a standalone universal basic income. To better understand this, we need to take a look at a few of the main features of a UBI and contrast them with an FJG. One of the biggest arguments made by supporters of a UBI is that robots are going to take half of the existing jobs in the next decade, leaving tens of millions of people out of work and without income. Enter the phrase $1,000 a month and everyone suddenly gets dollar signs in their eyes. $1,000 a month, they say, will keep the jobless masses afloat, giving them the stability they need to go out and find new work. But it's kind of tough to see what new work these people are going to be able to find, considering the rampant automation which caused them to be out of work in the first place. Another issue is that $1,000 a month is still below the federal poverty level, and it does nothing in the way of alleviating lost medical benefits for many of the newly unemployed. A federal job guarantee, on the other hand, would actually help unemployed and underemployed people get jobs paying, on average, $2,400 per month plus benefits. A second big argument made by UBI supporters is that it would reduce economic inequality. Again, this doesn't really hold much water when you realize that everyone, not just poorer people, are going to be receiving $1,000 per month. Stephanie Kelton explains that point, albeit using a larger UBI example.
We have income and wealth inequality that looks like this. Actually, my hands won't go high enough, right? But it looks like this. And the UBI, the basic income, gives everybody $30,000. And so you would think it does nothing to diminish the inequality, but my concern is it actually exacerbates the inequality. Why? Because the rich are going to invest and their wealth is going to grow as a result of this, and the poor are going to eat their apples, not buy shares of Apple.
By contrast, an FJG would directly target the people at the bottom of the inequality scale, those without jobs and those in low-wage jobs, thereby actually reducing wealth and income inequality. Another claim made by the supporters of a UBI is that all the new spending into the economy will curtail any negative macroeconomic effects like inflation caused by the trillions of dollars given to citizens each year. Except all that spending is precisely the issue that would cause inflation to occur, specifically demand-pull inflation. Demand-pull inflation occurs when there are too many dollars chasing too few goods and services, which would almost certainly be the case with a standalone UBI that does nothing to increase production. An FJG, however, would not be inflationary because it would simultaneously create the real resources needed to be consumed, or as Sandy Darity puts it,
The universal basic income would be intrinsically inflationary. However, the federal job guarantee would mitigate the degree of inflation because people are going to actually be engaged in the process of providing goods and services.
These are just a few reasons why a federal job guarantee is a superior policy to a standalone universal basic income. But as I've said before, if a UBI were incorporated within an FJG, then it could work. In that scenario, it could be given as supplemental income for government benefit recipients, essentially expanding the existing social safety net. However, many proponents of a UBI seem to want the exact opposite: an elimination or consolidation of current benefit programs in exchange for cash. As a nation, we absolutely need to acknowledge the fact that growing automation will severely disrupt the current job market. But just giving people cash so that they can keep shopping without giving them a job is not the solution, especially not when there's so much work that needs to be done in our communities right now. Thanks for watching Two Hard Questions. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can catch every episode. Until next time, peace.